My name is Jerry Conley, and I'm the spokesperson for the Coalition of Labor for Energy and Jobs. I'm a retired business manager at Boilermakers Local 5. I worked in Indian Point over the past 40 years. I have intimate knowledge of Indian Point and what's involved. First of all, I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. I know some of you battle traffic to get here from work, and probably, unfortunately, some of you don't have a job. Now, as everyone knows here, we're here today to show support for the relicensing of Indian Point 2 and Indian Point 3. I assume that we all are aware of the stakes that if this plant does not stay opened, not only will we lose jobs, but also we will have a 2,000 megawatt hole in our energy needs in the Lower Hudson Valley and in New York City. So for all of us, this is not only work, this helps support our way of life in the lower part of New York State. And without Indian Point, we would see dramatic changes in the work outlooks, in people being interested in coming into this area and bringing their families, for businesses to expand, because the price of electricity would get so high that we would all want to get out of here. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Bob Seeger. Bob would like to say a few words. And again, I want to thank you all for coming out tonight and sticking by your leadership to make sure that we can all have jobs and have a secure future. Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. First thing I want to do is thank all of you for being here. This is important to every trade in here, and the one thing that I thought about when I first came in here is that we've all had differences over the years. And we've all been able to pull together for things like this. From the conversations that we've had over the last several years, Entergy has been increasing the amount of workload that they give to the trades. But this is not just about our jobs. There's a lot of people that work in that plant year-round. There's a lot of people that live around that plant. It's about an economy. It's not just about jobs. And like Jerry said, knowing the previous owners, Entergy is probably, I would say, the one that has spent the most amount of money on making the improvements for that plant. And you all know that if anything happens in that plant, it winds up getting way blown out of proportion. For you that have been in there, you know that it's a safe place to work.
As you know, I'm a representative of the Empire State Regional Council of Carpenters. My name is Joseph Karras. We're Local 11. I've come here to urge for the support and relicensing of Indian Point. These tough economic times are hard for working families, and they're particularly feeling the pinch now. High costs of home heating oil, natural gas are damaging our economy and hitting the middle class right in our wallets. Our state's energy transmission infrastructure is outdated and in need of serious repair. The lack of comprehensive power plant siting law has also had an impact on energy investment here in New York State. It's curtailed the efforts to grow our energy capacity here. This is why Indian Point is so critical now. The facility produces 2,000 megawatts of affordable, reliable baseload power and is directly responsible for millions of dollars in direct economic impact for our region. It also is responsible for hundreds of well-paid union jobs, a matter which is very close to my heart. From an environmental standpoint, Indian Point produces its electricity in an emission-free manner. This is good for our air and water and lowers the rates of child asthma and other ailments that impact our communities. Indian Point has been a good neighbor, they are a good neighbor, and they have a strong reputation for community support. It provides jobs with low-cost energy and fosters a positive impact upon our environment. For these reasons, I ask you to support the relicensing of Indian Point. I've been a resident in the village of Buchanan for 17 years, where I live with my wife and 3 children. Entergy has been a great neighbor of ours. There's also a lot of old retirees in the village of Buchanan, which is a working-class town. And I've seen these people struggle now to survive out there on their fixed incomes. Doing this would raise taxes in the village and drive a lot of elderly people out of their homes. They've been known all their lives. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm the business manager of Boilermakers Local 5, like Jerry said,
And I want to start by thank everyone for being here tonight. I know everybody has busy schedules. It's hard to come out to these things, but it's important to show we're all together here for this. I live here in the Hudson Valley. I've worked many times in Indian Point. I was a foreman here. I was here before I was a foreman, just in the gang, and it was always a source of very good and high-paying job. We don't usually have that opportunity to work in the Hudson Valley. If you go further north where you can get a job like this, so this is a perfect source for this job. We're going to be here to support the relicensing and for the good jobs that's going to be kept going in this area. I just had a number of meetings this past week, and it's got to do with the economy as far as New York City and the state of New York, and things aren't looking that good. The banks are pulling a lot of money out of a lot of projects for construction right now, and it's going to be harder and harder to get a job, so we need to fight for the jobs we have here.
Thank you, Jerry. I did not prepare anything tonight, so this is going to be short and sweet. We all know why we are here tonight. We're here for jobs. That's why we are here. I represent workers in this area. My office is in Buchanan, New York. And I realize if this plant were to close, the impact it would have on my members that I represent. I also worked at Indian Point over the years, as did my father. My father was there when they started building the plant, so I know how important it was to my family. If they were to close this plant, where is the alternative? Where are we going to get electricity from? Just across the river. They just demoed another plant. So where is the replacement of energy? I don't see it. Not around here. Thank you.